Welcome back. I am Chan the Tech Man, and we are playing Abduction. And I figured out about the Farley's vaulted number. That door there, I don't know. I don't think you can get into it. Um, let's see where I'm going. You go over here, and where I entered the code is you go in there. I'm going to. I'm pretty sure. That's what I think. I think I missed something over here. Cause it seems like where you enter that code is where you would go in. Yeah, there it is, a door. Okay, now we got it. They take off the speed run. It appears it didn't get all of our house. Hope you can hear that noise. I like that. I hope you can hear that. I'm gonna read some stuff. This is welcome, and appears to be a lot of stuff. And here's a map. It's a circle. Very interesting. That's where we came in. Battery shop. We was here. Let's go read this. Welcome to Hoonrath. Please give us a bit of information about you so we can get to know you a little better. Name, date you came from. Please use 4-digit year. Where you came from, country and city. Circumstances under which you were taken. Please note any danger you noticed. Emptied and filled 12,000 AH, 13,000 AH, 15,000. Samuel Colrun, January 2017. Something Madagascar. I had just arrived and was driving my supply truck along the coast south of something when I recall being washed away and the seed appeared. 15 20 57 AH male male 61. I don't know what that is. Fizel something 1942 March in Germany. The last thing I recall is a large rumbling while I was hiding in the cellar of a vacant building. I ran towards a bright light in a stairwell. 26. I don't know what that number is. Maria Galileo 9, 1988, Mexico. On my boat and bad storm. Female 46. March of 2042, Portland, United States of America. Skiing Sky Mount Hood 37. Huh. species. Description: Mofag through ambassador seeds. The Mofag were the first non-human species. Were introduced to. And Liang were the first to call the alien a Mofag, impressed with their advanced ability to imitate our sounds, movement, and mannerisms. Although they have a name for themselves, their language is mostly unpronounceable by humans as a result, and because of their mimicry abilities. Communication with the Mofag is primarily accomplished by their learning human language rather than humans learning to speak Mofag. They have been able to learn almost every human language represented in Hunrath, enough to provide functional, if rudimentary, communication. The Mofag basic external morphology is remarkably humanoid. Bilateral, spherical tetrapods, bipedal head with a interior facial feature, mouth, eyes, nostrils. Other external features include minimal body hair and raised dorsal protrusions. Constitution is somewhat frail, due apparently to their thin and lightweight internal structure, but internal investigation has not been possible. They have ample cranial space to account for a substantial brain, and their intelligence is impressive, as evidenced by their advanced technology. After a certain level of maturity and health of the tree, a passage opened at its base. This passage allowed contact with two additional species. The first contact was with the Arail. The first contact revealed the Arail to be large beetle-like insects who were able to communicate directly with them in any way, but they appeared to have some rudimentary level. Unable to communicate with them, but they appeared to have rudimentary level of intelligence. It was Morktooth who first made the journey through the heart of Campter and named both the New World and the inhabitants. The Era have three distinct variants that have come to be referred to as barnacle beetle and polyarch. Although the morphology is drastically different from human, their internal systems, like all of our neighbors, are supported by similar atmospheric composition and basic nutrients. In their barnacle stage, the Ariel are completely immobile and stay in an egg-like development state, seemingly indefinitely. In order to hatch, they must be in proximity of a polyarch and fertilized by the beetle after a certain stage of maturity. The beetle are the eyes and ears, hands and feet. With only a minimal nervous system of their own, they are essentially the sensory extension of the immobile polyarchs. They are able to execute simple commands, but apparently have very little in the way of individual sentience. The polyarchs are the intelligent and conscious of the species, although it was obvious that there was intelligence behind the species. It wasn't until Caroline Farley began spending large amount of time in the close proximity that deeper communication began. With a room nearby, Farley was the first to communicate nonverbally and learn much about the species, including some historical information that our species survived in their world while several other sentient species came and went. Among them, an ancient species who formed a deeper relationship with the Arai carving. Let's see. Let me go back here and read this again. Farley was the first to communicate nonverbal and learn more about the species, including historical information. Our species survived in their world while several other sentient species came and went. Among them, an ancient species who formed a deeper relationship with the Arai, carving temples and dwellings for them in the rocks, and later a more recent species that took over much of their homeworld. This later species was especially adept at mechanical construction, using it mostly to capture and process large flying creatures, using the beetles as bait. Villian. The final species to be discovered were the Villian. The Villian had been communicating with the Arai for many years through ambassador seeds, but became part of the larger community very shortly after the array, with a large and imposing frame and a form of communication based on a complex multi-voice low-frequency rumble. The initial introductions were intimidating. After several attempts, Savita was able to begin some rudimentary communication and began visiting the Villian in Mare, which she named on a regular basis. She discovered a complex and amazing society that was able to use their technology in unexpected ways. They had the ability to quickly transform their world using extruded structures based on some form of complex miniature substructure material. Unlike the other worlds, the Villian sphere is scooped out of a Villian resettlement group that was preparing to set off into space to find a new homeworld. This was their way of life, to put themselves into stasis and scatter themselves through the star. As mentioned previously, their appearance is imposing, standing about 9 feet tall, with a distinct reptilian resemblance. They have 6 limbs, 2 muscular legs and arms, and a similar set of arms. They control every aspect of their technology with their vocalization, but over the years they have created control panels based on their number system that allow other species to access elements of their technology. They are big. Let's see what we got here. Communication, talking with our neighbors. We take communication for granted, even with the varied languages we find here in Hunrath. But when we suddenly find ourselves among our intelligent species, we don't share our culture, history, DNA, or vocal cords. It requires a huge amount of effort from the beginning of rudimentary chat. This quick overview will set the stage for what the aspects of communication with our neighbors. The Mofang were the first non-humans we met with at at least some level of similar physical vocal generating abilities. They picked up human words quickly. This early mimicry resulted in what the species became to be called, even though they were able to mimic single words and simple phrases. It became evident over the years that huge grammatical differences were not easily overcome. Some have proposed that the difficulty may have arisen because the Mofag insisted on attempting to learn every human language, and as a result were never able to lock onto any consistent grammatical structure. Nevertheless, in spite of the rudimentary sentence construction, it has been very easy to communicate, and it has been unnecessary for us to learn their language beyond a few simple phrases and proper names. If you'd like to learn more about communication with the Mofag, please contact Tam. The have presented a particular communication challenge. From what we can gather, they produce sounds using two large reed-like structures inside opposite sides of their heads. The vibration generated are channeled to resonance chambers in their skulls, where they are combined into a complex low-frequency dual tone. The low-frequency bitonal sounds are not only hard for humans to hear and resolve, but impossible for us to mimic. And the Velian's hearing is also oriented towards low frequency, so they are unable to hear most of the sounds associated with human speech. Therefore, communication with the Velian relied on technology. They have adapted consoles which the Velian fluidly control with vocalization for use by other species. Over the years, some individuals of other species, including a few humans, have learned to communicate very effectively using this method. Humans have been able to pick out some higher frequency characteristics of certain key Velian words over the years, and although we can't speak to them in a way that the Velians can understand, we are occasionally able to hear and recognize these words when spoken distinctly by the Velian. If you like to learn more, be told. None of the stages of the air morpha have any vocalization apparatus because of the obvious synchronization of the barnacle flash and the ability of the pawns to provide for and address the needs of the polyarch. It was assumed that the species would communicate effectively. It was not until Farley began to spend large amounts of time in the polyarch antechamber that the first clues to this communication became evident. After months of research, Farley began to have limited access with receiving some kind of simple messages that were coming from the polyarchs. It is apparent now that the polyarchs have been attempting to communicate the entire time, but they themselves had been experimenting with various channels until they finally got a response from Farley. After this breakthrough, others were able to tune in to the polyarchs and learn to listen. Both the polyarchs and the pawns have a simple organs that can sense human vocal frequencies, enable them to send simple responses from humans. But over the years, Farley was able to learn to speak the polyarchs via the related form of extrasensory transmission. That's pretty neat. Seed information. That's what I'd like to know. Ambassador seeds were first documented about 150 Earth years ago. They occur about once every 400 days if the trees remain healthy. Natural seed swaps occur between pairs of seeds that we now know dropped simultaneously from healthy trees in paired spheres. When each seed was touched by species in sphere, the swap occurred, sending an ambassador from each sphere to the paired sphere. Location of the swap is defined by the location of the pairs of seeds after the first swap. The seeds recharge quickly, allowing for a quick return. First meeting were intense but naturally short. It was quite a surprise for both the Mofang and us. Over time, the seeds required more time to recharge, producing longer visits between species. Unlike ambassador seeds and mother seeds, collector seeds do not seem to survive. The inner core is spent, leaving only the lifeless outer husk. Everyone who arrives is familiar with the collector seeds, the bright light that we were all drawn to right before the event that brought us here is a collector seed. What new arrivers may not be aware of is that these seeds, like all seeds, come in pairs. When the tree drops a collector seed on the ground, it signals that its twin has begun its quest for a new being. That search may take hours or it may take years. When the appropriate situation and natural threat of death is found, the seed activates and swaps a smaller but varying sized sphere from Earth or whatever appropriate home world here to Hunra. As Hunra became more populated, we would watch for a newly dropped collector seed, collect it, and place it in the entry canyon area. This allowed us to provide a more predictable entry experience for new arrivers and provide a single area to collect any resources that may have come along with the new arriver. I think it's all for that one. The entire landscape outside our circle of desert could only be described as alien. Large floating rocks could be seen in the distance. No one had ever seen anything like it anywhere on Earth. We fully explore our new surroundings, hoping to find a way home. No way home was ever found. In fact, we soon discovered what we take for granted now. Not only could we not get back home, we also could not access the landscape outside the desert. Curiously, we discovered that any flow of water was provided from a high point of rock, and we discovered a small tree flowing in the very center of the circle. Our central tree that is so important to our lives here was just a mere sapling back then. I shall document the curious events that have transpired with myself, my family, friends, and co-workers. Hartnell was a peaceful mining town founded by my grandfather and nestled within the red rock of the desert in the Arizona territory. Its 130 inhabitants heard a mighty explosion on the night of June 27, 1903. I sent several workers through the town to verify that the explosion had not caused any injuries or damages to any mining equipment. They returned and reported that it must have been a loud clap of thunder caused by dry lightning, for they found no damage. It was not until the light of the next morning that we were amazed to realize something profound had indeed occurred. At some point during that night, our entire mining facility and a large circle of the land around it seemed to have been scooped up and carried off to a completely different place without anyone knowing about it. Well, that's that. And let's see what else we can find. And I can click on nails. Maybe. No. Nope. Can't click on that. It's more there. It's a box. I'll take a picture of that. Seed. Find planet with similar atmosphere. So Mofang. Heart. Heart connected path open when mature. 4 species met. What happens at fruition? Swaps where home when maybe dead. More seed pairs scattered throughout the universe. Why scattering? So I can get a zoom in on that. And let's see what's over here. This kids' drawings. Got to look at everything in here. Okay. Backer item. Can't do anything with this. Here it is. I'll rewind this and see if we can play. Some people might not know how to use this thing.
Well, I feel like I should say something. We haven't heard from Shavar. So, well, so we assume that Shavar, well, the attack is inevitable. We just don't know when. So, Shavar and her family, and others she trusts, I guess, well, they'll arrive when they can, without giving, like covertly. So the plan will happen, in spite of our we're locking down as much as possible here and moving everybody out. CW will stay here, and I'll go to Murray at the last possible moment. Most are gone. There's just a few left here now. The mayor got out early. I don't even know why I'm recording this. It's like somehow we'll live on or something. I guess this has meaning if someone listens, but who? A new one? A new arriver. Oh, God, the kiosk out front. I need to update that message.
Okay, I guess we listen to that. See what else we got. Okay. You turn this on. Huh. Let's take a picture. Let's see where that would be. About a tree. Okay, we'll figure that out. Can you rotate this? Oh. Well, this is hard to do. A little bit more. That's good. Well, this is hard. As far as it go. Now, 15. How do you change? Can you change something here? Huh. 15. That's going to mean something. And I think we... Let's see. Something back here. I wonder if we can open that front door. Yes. Going through all that junk again. If I need to get over here, I'll get over here to that front door. those, seem you see a lot of those. There was a little one in the workshop. There was a big one over there by the rail yard. There's one blocking the other door. Pretty neat. Well, we've done a lot of reading. Went to Farley's house, so it's a good time to end this session, this stream. So thank you for tuning in and being a part of this. And I like the good feedback, and I appreciate it. I'm Chan, the Tech Man. I want to ask you, if you can, to subscribe to my YouTube channel. I don't have my own YouTube URL yet. So if you subscribe, that could help me get that. And I appreciate that. And hit notification bell to get notified when I go live. I appreciate that. Or when I upload stuff. Oh, I keep forgetting it. You can't jump in this game. Probably can. I don't know. Like this video and my other videos. Get in the comment section and comment. Be nice. And share all my stuff on your social media. I appreciate that. And my website is chansmith.me. Go there. And chansmith.me. And share that on your social media too. I appreciate it. And we'll end here.